I've been in the habit of debriefing my trips to Roaring Spring, to that area. And today's Friday. Yesterday I was in Roaring Spring, and I was the day before. Uh, and this morning I was sitting there thinking, I can't debrief that trip. I'll just have to give up on this debriefing business because there's just so much that has occurred in the last, say, 3 days around that trip. Can I explain it all? But then I changed my mind. After a while, I thought, no, that's a cop out. I better debrief it. It's going to take a few videos unrelated, but I'll try to make them short. But I was thinking of all that. If I had to single one thing out, what would I talk about? And I decided, well, I guess I would explain what happened at the very beginning of the day yesterday, and just stop for the time being right there. I was heading into Roaring Spring. You see, Robert Krasnow, he wouldn't mind at all that I use his name, and his wife Lourdes are Brazilians. But Robert Krasnow was born in Long Island. Well, I guess he was maybe born in the Bronx, but he was a Peace Corps volunteer right there beside Joyce and me, only about 20 miles away, maybe even less, in another town called Brejo de Cruz. And I saw him very rarely, very rarely, even though we were that close. But see, back in the Peace Corps days, in Brazil at that time, there wasn't any easy way to go from one place to another, even though they were close. But we did know each other, and he stayed in Brazil. He married a Brazilian woman, raised children in Brazil, has lived there for 60 years. You could say he's an expatriate. I assume he still has an American passport or citizenship, but he virtually became Brazilian. But periodically now, he comes and visits the United States, and he wanted to see where I lived and meet me again, which is a super nice thing for him to do, he and his wife. Well, the only way I could figure out that they could be adequately hosted and housed was to have them stay in Roaring Spring in a bed and breakfast above Danny Kaye's cafe. But I would go and pick him up and drive him around and show him stuff. And so I was on my way in, and that's one of the reasons the last 2 days have been so unbelievable. But on my way in, I made a stop because I had I'd forgotten to pay my, I'm going to refer to him as my Pennsylvania Dutch teacher, although that's that's the easiest way to explain it. The man, I'll tell you his name too. It's Mervin Martin, but he doesn't pronounce Martin the way we do. He's 81 years old, so he's my superior in age. But anyway, I had explained about that he's teaching me Pennsylvania Dutch. His wife's named Laura. And but I forgot to pay him because I got my car stuck and he had to help me get out, and I think I explained about that. And I'd arranged to pay him the day before, Wednesday, but things changed and I couldn't get in there. No, he said he wasn't going to be there. He was going to be somewhere else. So and I was going to leave the money and some books that I wanted him to look at in his shop, and he said that's fine. He said, "You don't have long fingers, do you?" When I'd never heard that expression, but I knew what he meant. He said, "You're not going to steal anything in there, are you?" I laughed and said, "No." He said, "No, that'd be fine. It's not locked. Just leave the stuff there." Uh, but I had not been able to do that, and so yesterday on my way in, I thought I got to take care of that. I'm going to drive up there, and I'm going to, whether he's there or not, I'm going to leave the stuff there. So he didn't know it was coming. But anyway, I drove up, and he did hear the car as I was parking, and he was in his shop. I could see smoke coming out the house chimney, and his shop chimney as well, and so he was there at the door and greeted me, and I explained to him that I had these books and stuff. Anyway, he welcomed me into his shop, and there I saw an enormous industrial bandsaw. I didn't know what to expect. I wanted to see his shop because I told him I've got a lot of tools, and I do. I've got a lot of tools. And I thought I might have tools that he might not have or have use for. I didn't know. But I went into this shop, and it's a one-man shop. He's built it all his life. He's 81. And he's gradually got the tools and probably built the building. I think he built the building. And you could basically make anything in there out of wood if you wanted to. And we had a lovely visit. And he showed me not only his equipment proudly, but he also showed me some of the things he makes. And I guess I'm just going to have to stop here. Because I couldn't really do it justice. He even said before I left, because I had to meet Bob Krasnow in Roaring Spring. I was watching the clock, and I had to go. But he said, well, if you got a minute, come over here. And he pulled out a drawer and was showing me his great grandfather, a thing that he had framed, where his great grandfather had written some stuff, and that was his grandfather. And it was just, what a fine craftsman he is, and what a fine shop he's got. I've seen a lot of shops that are as clean as they could possibly be, with everything shiny, not a bit of rust. I think a lot of men invest a lot of money in having just this perfect little shop with vacuums on all their saws and stuff. It wasn't like that at all. This was a shop that had been used and was being used. And I'll probably see if he'll probably let me film his shop on another occasion. But it stood out, and I thought, well, and I'm going to come back to the Mennonite connection before I leave this day. But I'll go on now to probably the second biggest event that I can tell you about these 2 days, but mostly yesterday. Bye for now.